Good morning to one and all. I am Dr. A. Subha, Assistant Professor of History, Sri Sharda College for Women, Autonomous, Salem 16. Today we will see the topic of science and technology after independence regarding the contemporary India subject. Um, India inherited the system of education from the British Raj. It was designed to meet the needs of an imperial administration and colonial requirements. The first colonial requirements. The first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, wanted the people to be imbued with a scientific temper. He considered science and technology as a sure cure to poverty, literacy, and superstition, with a view to transform the traditional society into modern one. Nehru initiated a number of policy measures in the field of science and technology. Science policy. India's science policy is contained in the Science Policy Resolution passed the Parliament in 1958. The science policy is based on four cardinal principles. The first one, to develop scientific outlook among the people. To keep abreast of latest development in scientific thought and practice. Third one, to acquaint the country with the developed science and technology. And fourth one, to apply technology consistent with the highest ideals of the age. In short, the essence of the science policy was to foster and sustain the cultivation of science and technology in all its aspect, basic, applied, and educational, besides encouraging individual and initiatives. National Physical Laboratories. On 4th January 1947, Jawaharlal Nehru laid the foundation stone to the first ever Indian National Physical Laboratory. This was followed by 17 other national research laboratories in different fields of scientific endeavor. Jawaharlal Nehru himself was the chairman of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, which guided and financed the national laboratories and other institutions of science. Then the Atomic Energy Commission was set up in 1956. Jawaharlal Nehru laid the foundation for the Indian nuclear energy program with the invaluable support of Homi Jahangir Baba, an eminent nuclear scientist. The Atomic Energy Act was passed in April 1948, realizing realizing the incalculable importance of nuclear energy for peaceful and developmental purposes. Jawaharlal Nehru established the Atomic Energy Commission on 10th August 1948 with Homi Jahangir Baba as its chairman. The basic objectives of the commission were to develop atomic energy as a source of electricity. First one, the basic objectives of the commission were to develop atomic energy as a source of electricity, and second one, develop its uses for agriculture, biology, industry, and medicine. Develop its uses for agriculture, biology, industry, and medicine. In other words, the commission was intended to develop nuclear for peaceful purposes and to launch a full-fledged atomic energy program in the country. Um, the Atomic Energy Establishment. Dr. Jahangir Homi Baba was the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission till his death in 1966. The Atomic Energy Establishment was set up in 1954 at Trombay near Bombay. India's first nuclear reactor, also first in Asia, became critical in August 1956. In 1957, the Atomic Energy Establishment was renamed Baba Atomic Research Center. In the year 1957, the Atomic Energy Establishment Center was renamed by Baba Atomic Research Center BARC. The Atomic Energy Commission had set up 5 atomic reactors named Apsara, Zerlina and Circus, Purnima and Dhruv. The Atomic Energy Commission had set up to 5 atomic reactors named Apsara, Zerlina, Circus and Purnima and Dhruv. By the time China exploded a nuclear device on 16th October 1964, India possessed advanced nuclear research and power programs and had even exporting radioactive material. The year 1964, India possessed advanced nuclear research and power programs and had even exporting radioactive active material. Atoms for peace. India became independent just a couple of years after the dropping of atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, near Japan, 6th and 9th August 1945. 6th and 9th August 1945. The unbelievable devastation and unprecedented destruction and loss of life caused by the atomic attack left their indelible impact on India's leadership, which decided to keep India free from atom bombs. Jawaharlal Nehru was passionately anti-bomb and the chief opponent of the nuclear weapons program. He considered the atom bombs as frightful engines of destruction. Moreover, the post-independence India desperately needed socio-economic development. Jawaharlal Nehru decided to use nuclear technology for peaceful purposes. Atoms for peace was the essence of his nuclear policy. Jawaharlal Nehru, by conviction, was opposed to their nuclear energy being used for the manufacturing of atom bombs. He concurred with Dr. Homi Bhabha, India's preeminent nuclear scientist, when he suggested that nuclear energy would be profitably used to meet the developmental needs of the country. Nehru called for the suspension of nuclear testing, the ending of the nuclear arms race, and the abolition of nuclear weapons. The ending of the nuclear arms race and the abolition of the nuclear weapons. He had a distaste for these destructive devilish devices. In fact, the first Darien call for the total ban on nuclear tests came from Nehru in 1954. Space research and development. A modest but firm beginning in space research and development was made in the 1960s. In 1962, the Indian National Committee for Space Research was constituted and the Launch Vehicle Development Program was started. In the year 1962, the Indian National Committee for Space Research was constituted and the Launch Vehicle Development Program was started. A rocket launching facility was established at Tumba on 21st November 1963. The Nick Apache rocket was launched with a sodium vapor payload. In the year 1963, the Nick Apache rocket was launched with a sodium vapor payload. Since its inception, space research and development has been guided with a great foresight to apply space technology for finding solutions to the problems of space and its utility. Self-sufficiency in space science and technology has been the core content of space. The space research and development has gone a long way since then. Self-sufficiency in space science and technology has been the core content of space research. The space research and development has gone a long way since then. Next one, defense system. An Armed Forces Reconstruction Committee was constituted to divide the Army, Navy and Air Force and to establish in India and Pakistan a separate operational command. The administrative control over the forces was to rest for some time after 15th August with Field Marshal Achlank, and he was to be answerable to the Joint Defence Council. He was to be answerable to a Joint Defence Council set up after August 15. Defence policy and organizations. Defence policy and organization. Since independence India, defence policy has two clear-cut objectives. Independence India defense policy has two clear-cut objectives: to promote and sustain durable peace in the subcontinent, and second one, to safeguard the country from aggression. First one, to promote and sustain durable peace in the subcontinent, and the second one, safeguard the country from aggression. The President of India is vested with the authority of the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. The Union Cabinet exercises the responsibility for national defense. The armed forces consist of the three main services: the Army, the Navy, first one the Army, second one Navy, third one the Air Forces. The armed forces consist of three main services: Army, Navy, and the Air Forces. The Army headquarters is located in New Delhi. It is headed by the Chief of the Army Staff. The main auxiliaries of the armed forces are the Territorial Army, Coast Guards, Auxiliary Air Force, and National Cadet Corps. The Navy, with its headquarters in New Delhi, functions under the Chief of Naval Staff, assisted by the Principal Staff Officers. It has three naval commands: western at Bombay, eastern at Visakhapatnam, and southern at Cochin. There are two naval fleets in the western and the eastern. It shoulders the responsibility of defending the nation's maritime interest. Next one, defense training. The Air Force has its headquarters in New Delhi. It is headed by the Chief of the Air Staff. The IAF maintains the highest level of vigilance and compact worthiness, provides air defense, air interaction, reconnaissance, and offensive air support, and assist civil authorities during national calamities. These works done by the Air Force. And then defense training is imported to defense recruits and personnel by defense school, academics, and colleges. Sainik schools started in 1961 or joint venture of the central and state government. The Sainik schools started in 1961 or joint venture of the central and state governments. They are fully residential, select meritorious students and educate and train them to become eligible for recruitment to the officers cadre in the defense forces. They are fully residential in this school, Sainik school, and select meritorious students and educate and train them to become eligible for recruitment of the officers cadre in the defense forces. Other important training centers are the Officers Training Academy, Chennai, National Defense Academy, and Cadet Kwasla, Indian Military Academy, Dehradun, and Rashtriya Indian Military College, Dehradun. These are the other training center of the army forces, defense forces. Training center Chennai, and then Dehradun, Rashtriya Indian Military College, Dehradun. Production and supplies. Production and supplies. The primary purpose of the Department of Defense production and supplies are to equip the armed forces with the latest equipment and weaponry systems and to contribute towards modernization of armed forces. The ordnance factories play a crucial role in equipping the armed forces with weapons, arms, ammunition, tanks, etc. The supplies wing function under the Ministry of Defense. It is the nodal agency for evolving purchase policies for the Ministry of Defense. Defense Research and Development DRDO. In 1958, the Defense Research and Development Organization DRDO was set up and amalgamating the Defense Service Organization and some of the technical developments. The DRDO has developed a large number of defense systems, equipment and other products as per the requirements of the armed forces. Role of defense. Role of defense. Indian armed forces are highly disciplined, professional and non-political in nature. They function under the civilian control with the operational authority. After the India-China War of 1962, the armed forces were modernized, secularized and further strengthened. Their their political role has strengthened the stability of India's democratic institutions, national unity and integrity. Above all, their all India character and ethos safeguard the country from military intervention in political affairs. Independent India witnessed a unprecedented surge and success in the field of science and technology, nuclear power and space research. Jawaharlal Nehru created one of the best science and technology infrastructure, education, training and research systems in the non-Western world. Jawaharlal Nehru's intense interest in science and technology bore ample fruits later. A major achievement of the Jawaharlal Nehru era was in the field of scientific research and technological education. India's nuclear policy and program had been influenced by the twin ideological factors of Gandhian and non-violence and Nehruvian internationalism. India's space program was a short shoot in the arm of space research and development. Apart from these, significant strides were made in the defense research and development. In fine, Jawaharlal Nehru had left an indelible impression in the realms of education, science, technology, and nuclear energy. Thank you.